Hey everybody, Ryan Roy from Justifier Just Do It Coaching here. I want to talk about a concept I learned a while ago from Keith Cunningham. I may have done it in a prior video, but it just keeps coming up. And it goes back to something I talked about just the other day, which is consistency. And I'm going to give you an analogy that I learned from a very talented, successful businessman by the name of Keith Cunningham. He is a business guru. You could Google him, I'm sure, find him, and he's that's what he does. He builds and sells businesses, build, sell, and just makes a ton of money doing it. So the concept that I learned from Keith Cunningham at a live event one time was he was talking about kicking the can, and we're going back to consistency here. He said, if there is a can on the ground, a tin can, such as a Coca-Cola can or Pepsi can or whatever, it's empty, you see it on the ground, he goes, if I told you to kick that can 3 miles down the road, could you do it? Well, I couldn't do it in one kick. So the question is, how many kicks would it take? Well, who knows? 3 miles down the road is quite a ways. So let's just say we don't swing for the fences every time, but we just kick it 3 or 4 feet at a time. 3 or 4 feet at a time. 3 or 4 feet at a time. Eventually, let's say 3 miles down the road, I'm a runner and I walk, so I get an idea of how long it takes. An average walking mile at a decent pace is probably about 15, 16 minutes. So let's just say because you're kicking the can, it's going to the left or right. We'll give yourself an hour to kick this can down the road. Doesn't seem like a difficult task now, does it? Well, let's apply this to real life. And if we could just get 3 feet in front of us in regards to our goals or whatever we're striving to do. I'll share with you guys, these videos have been a challenge for me. Do I have the right backdrop? Like right now, part of me, it bothers me that this backdrop is white and is a little wrinkled. But I don't want to iron. I don't want to throw it in the dryer. And I could get some better pins so that it's not draping down here. It's more tight, to the left and to the right. The lighting's not perfect. But then I decided nobody's really looking at the bottom. You're looking at it now, but nobody's really looking at the backdrop. Everybody wants the content. When I look at a video, I don't look at the background unless it's just shit. If I'm looking at it, but if the content is good, like I don't know about you guys, I YouTube a lot of things. I'll go on, if I got to change something on the car, let's just say a headlight, and they're all different. So I go on and I Google, the type of car I have, and YouTube video pops up, and it's some grungy mechanic, dirty hands, whatever. But he's a mechanic, so that's what I guess what you expect. I don't expect him in a suit and tie. So he goes in there and does it. I was watching a video not too long ago on testing gold. I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't expect him in a suit and tie either. But the guy's apartment or house or whatever it was a disaster in the background. But he knew exactly what he was talking about in regards to testing gold and finding its value. And I watched his video, so that wasn't a deterrent for me. So my point is, if you're kicking the can, my kicking the can is putting a video out 5 days a week now. 5 videos is kind of my goal for the next 2 or 3 months a week. So if I'm so concerned about the lighting and the backdrop and how my hair looks or what I'm wearing, guess what? These videos aren't going to get put out. But if I'm concerned about giving you guys great content, giving you analogies, my kicking the can works. A video a day. That's 1 kick. My goal for the year was 52 videos. I'm upping that goal because it's not enough. I think I have more material to give you guys. I think you guys are thirsty for more knowledge. Hopefully enough of you become followers that you start asking me questions, things that you want me to elaborate on, my viewpoint on certain things. That way I'm kicking the can even more and more and more, and we're building momentum. And eventually I'll get to those 52 videos, which is probably going to be pretty shortly now, probably in the next month or two. But that's part of the process. If you say kick the can 3 miles down the road, which is that year goal, just so you weigh, that 3 miles is 1 year out. So it's going to take you 365 kicks, let's say, to get out there. You got to work every day towards that goal. You know, it's going to 365 kicks for that can is if you kick a little bit at a time, you're eventually going to get to that 3 mile mark with that can. If you put a little bit in each day towards your goal, but you got to be conscious of it. You need to write your goals down. You need to create a plan for those goals. You need to make sure that that map for that plan is actually attainable. And once it's attainable, you need to put daily action steps and a reminder somewhere every day, probably twice a day, once in the morning, review the goals, complete them throughout the day, review the goals, make sure you completed them, and then write new goals for the next day and do that. You do that, whatever your goal is, as long as you're taking those action steps or kicking that can, you're going to attain those goals. So kicking the can is a concept that states if you take small actions often enough and consistently enough on a daily basis, you are going to eventually reach your end goal, whatever that goal may be. So guys, continue to kick the can. This is something that's helped me. I heard him say it about 2 years ago. It's stuck in the back of my mind. It's up on my whiteboard. Kick the can. Every day be conscious of what you're doing, working towards your goals, and eventually you will get there. It's not an easy process to start. It takes time to formulate goals. That's a whole other video. So guys, kick the can. Formulate goals, and kick the can towards those goals. This is Ryan Roy from Justifier Just Do It Coaching. Everybody have a fantastic day.